image, and I think it's pretty cool, the idea of having our subject here at the bottom right on a road that's just receding back. And we have like a nice opportunity and nice blend points to be able to use these barriers as the cutoff point of the plate and build our city up around it. Before we do anything though, I need to set up our perspective grid. This plate has a couple things working against us, like the road is actually curving downwards. We have some organic building shapes, and most cities aren't built in a perfect grid. So you have actually different vanishing points depending on the building. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choose just a singular point, especially for this demo, to try to stick with 1 point perspective. And I'm gonna base that perspective off of this little area in the center of frame. So the way that I set up a grid is using paths and the pen tool. If I just grab the pen tool, I'm gonna lay down 3 points. And I'm gonna make sure that they're tightly aligned to strong contrasting lines that I can follow. You can move these points around by pressing Control and then clicking. And now you can see I move this one vertice without affecting the others. So now that I have these kind of aligned here, I'm gonna grab this middle point, and this is gonna be our vanishing point. And just by Control clicking, you can see I can move it around and start to find where these lines converge. Another thing you can do is you can click on this point, and while it's selected, use your arrow keys to nudge it up and down or left and right. And this really helps if your vanishing point is way off of the canvas and you can't necessarily see it when you're in here. You can be zoomed into your points, looking for where they converge, and just arrow up and down to move that vanishing point. So I think that looks good, and I can check it by pressing Control, grabbing this point, and just moving it around and making sure that it aligns with that main building. So once we have our vanishing point placed, I'm gonna grab these vertices and drag them all the way to the edge of our canvas. And you can see it's not gonna line up with this road exactly because this road is curving. But that's okay. We're gonna build around this main structure. So when I have these 2 points, I can actually press Control-C, Control-V, and that's copy pasting, and then just grab the new vertice and just spread it around my canvas. And I want to keep them somewhat evenly spaced. And I'm just spreading them around so that when I'm placing buildings, I have a vanishing line somewhere near wherever all the elements are going to be going. I'll just put down a couple more. And that looks good. So now I want to name this path, and I'll name it Persp for perspective 01. It's important that you name it, because if you don't and you place another point, it'll override that path. But if you have it named, then it'll just create a new work path. Now I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to select a brush and make it pretty small, like 6 pixels. And then I'll grab just a red color so it's easy to see. And if I click on this path and I press this hollow circle, it's going to create a stroke. and just create lines. So now I have this, this layer that has a perspective grid that's easy to access. And now that we have that set up, we can start sketching and blocking in elements with understanding what the perspective and vanishing point of the painting is going to be.